I'm going to say Oregon 42, Ohio State 17. Carter, this is going to be bad. This Ohio State team, when it matters the most, they fold. You get a Tennessee that their running back is out, and they beat them by 30-some points. How impressive is that? They're missing their best offensive player. You got a redshirt freshman that's having to play an away playoff game, and you beat them by 30 points, and you think that you're national champions. And I'm rooting for them, Carter. I'm rooting for Ohio State. I want them to win it all, right? And they don't have to play a block M, so it's very possible that they do win it all. But it doesn't. Oregon takes care of business here. It's going to be exactly like what we saw, except this time there's not going to be interceptions that don't get called. That's a 14-point swing. As long as Oregon's guys don't spit on Ohio State's players, I think we're pretty good here.
No spitting. Got his fastball. You still got your fastball. We're live. Christmas has come and gone. We're recording on Boxing Day, Dylan. Thursday, December 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's just Dylan and I. We're the only ones here, man. We're the only ones putting in the grind, I guess.
Two comments. One, where's Connor? We just had Connor on the college football recap from the first round of the college football playoffs, and we discussed it was his birthday. He was out bar crawling, and it's like, okay, well, he wasn't watching the football games, right? Because we saw the Instagram story. He was on a double date, and now it's like we have the quarterfinals coming up, and he's nowhere to be found. And let alone Ben. Ben could be dead for all we know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he might be gone. I don't know.
Ben might be a goner. Let's take bets. Will we see Ben before the year's over? Let's say Lions Super Bowl.
So I think in November you could have gotten this at will you see him at it would have been, if you would have taken the no price at, you could have gotten 30, 40 to 1, or whatever, early in December. I think it's like the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson MVP odds. I think we're down to about minus 150 plus 130 area.
Just saying, I'm not going to say it, but there are people in the comments who say, hey, where's Ben? I know people, they're saying, oh, Ben hasn't been on the show. I was going to ask you a question, favorite Christmas gift?
Ooh.
We didn't get to do a Christmas episode this year.
We didn't get to do a Christmas episode this year. Favorite gift. So you're putting me in a bind here because you have to choose between the parents, the in-laws, and your wife. Therefore, the wife wins in that spot.
Let's be honest. None of them are watching the show.
Yeah,
so they won't matter.
Yeah, they are.
They are?
They are.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
how supportive of your family. That's awesome. Okay.
Well, not my family. Not mine, but the in-laws.
The in-laws?
Yeah,
okay.
The in-laws.
So then one of the in-laws' gifts was the best gift then?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it'd be Justine. No, you got to go Justine.
Justine Hornets tickets. How about that?
Ooh. But those, let's be honest, if you use code KarterKast at SeatGeek, those aren't that expensive.
I think she used code KarterKast at SeatGeek and
burner emails.
No, I mean probably. I don't know. I hope not. She's definitely used it before. I don't know.
Okay, there you go. Favorite. I don't know if it's favorite gift, but I am putting a gift on display. This is a throwback for all of my 2012, 2011 youth group homies. Toby Mac Tonight on vinyl, double vinyl. This album is 7th and 8th grade Dylan lived and breathed Toby Mac Tonight. And this was a gift from Abby, and she gave it to me. Do you know a song off that album?
No, I don't even know who Toby Mac is.
Are you serious?
I have no idea
you don't know who Toby Mac is?
No.
We're men of the same faith, Carter. You got to know who what? This was I don't
never got into Christian.
Did you go to church? Youth group or anything?
Yeah, but there was I never did there's no music stuff with
It's a little too contemporary for you.
Yeah, if I'm going to listen to church music, we're going traditional.
Okay. Well, hopefully someone leave a comment. I know there's someone out there Jack Carpenter, I know you listen to Toby Mac. Come on, leave me a comment here. Help me out. I cannot believe you have not listened to me. I got his, oh my gosh, I got his autographed book. I got an autographed picture back here you can't see.
Toby Mac.
Literally. Oh, this is getting crazy already. This is what you do when it's a slow content week. Look, Dylan.
It's not even a slow content week. We have a quarterfinal to discuss.
I have 4 games. 5.
Dylan, I hope this show really, really grows and becomes a big time show, because the real OGs will look back and be like, Toby Mac. Toby Mac will become an inside joke on this show.
They might. It might get to the point where Toby Mac and his crew need to cut us residual checks, because it's like
That
almost
would be
like an
the goal.
affiliate deal where if people
Yeah.
are like, we'll see a spike in Toby Mac searches and it's like, oh, that's from the KarterKast.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Great Christmas though so far. I mean, you still got when you get older, like younger, Christmas and New Year's are just like two separate things. For me, now you're an adult, you're married, it's all bundled into one.
It's like a hodgepodge of everything. And then Abby and I, our anniversary is New Year's Eve, so it's
that's a nightmare. No, but like good, like it's fun and all, but like it's all bundled into one thing where it's like you're not ever not resting.
That's true, but it gives you the flexibility, and most people are understanding where you get invited to a New Year's Eve party, and if you don't want to go, it's like, oh, can't, anniversary. Abby and I are going out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like you have an out. If like a buddy from high school you haven't talked to reaches out and says, hey, party in your hometown. So it's like a two-way street almost, but it does blend together. And it wasn't until 4 years ago. This is so embarrassing. 4 years ago that I realized New Year's Day is a week apart from Christmas, like exactly a week. Never thought about that.
New Year's Day, like all the New Year's stuff, I could not care less about.
What do you mean?
I don't care about New Year's.
Like the parties or the concept. Yeah. Like you're not you don't strike me as a resolution guy.
Oh no, big time resolution guy.
Oh,
that does not follow up with a single one.
Why? But like,
unless
at that point,
I don't take Hawaii.
Yeah, you did. That's going on 2 years now.
I didn't take Hawaii. I didn't bet one Hawaii game. I haven't bet one Hawaii game since that Vanderbilt game.
You're a bigger man now, Karter. You're a bigger man than you were when we started this show.
Yeah.
Why don't you take the big cat approach and just make it something that you want to do? Like I think 2 years ago, his New Year's resolution was eat more blizzards or something like that. You don't have to better yourself.
We'll figure that out. Next week we'll discuss my New Year's resolutions. How about that?
Do more underdog drafts or something like that. Do up your unit size. Something you want to do.
Oh yeah, we'll figure that out on the next episode.
Like Connor's resolution.
Don't
show
ever show
up for college football playoffs.
Yeah, at least Connor came Sunday. I mean, should this really be about Ben?
I can't. I don't know him well enough. Right. You can, but I can't.
All right. Housekeeping stuff, super quick. No NFL show this week. This is the only pod coming out this week. We'll be back regularly scheduled content next week. This week, only college football playoff stuff. We have to get it out. NFL stuff. We previewed a lot on the Sunday show, so a lot of that was covered. But Dylan?
No NFL show, but I am obligated to get it out to the listeners. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this. I've been awful. I've talked about it. I'm awful college, awful NFL. But we get back on track week 17. I have a 5-star. Tampa Bay Buccaneers -8 against the Carolina Panthers. I'm not saying it to poke at you, but these people, they need to know when the 5 stars come out. And there is no better time to let them know than right now because of no NFL show.
Take Bucky Irving over rush yards as well if you're betting the game.
And hey, I'll do you one better. Bucky Irving and Rachaad White.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, they both Bucky Irving 150 last game, gets hurt in the game. Rachaad White comes in, gets 80 himself, and I think his line was like 30. We good over there, Toby Mac?
We're having difficulties. All right, we're good. It was falling over. Yeah, you're right. Take Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield's quarterback 1 on Sunday. If you're doing any drafts, it's all Bucks. I'm sorry, it's not. Did you see the picture? Did you see the picture of Mina Kimes next to Bryce Young?
No, but I don't care.
Okay, all right. We not an NFL show.
Yeah, I know, and Bryce is balling. Also, did you see Bryce not he didn't want to be called the Reaper?
I didn't see that. Why are people calling him that?
Because he's been ending careers. He ended Daniel Jones' career. He ended the Cardinals' playoff hopes. Got Dennis Allen fired. He got there's one more we're missing. happened last year. Oh, Arthur Smith on the Falcons last year got him fired, and then I feel like I'm missing another. But yeah, yeah.
What was his reasoning? Too negative?
Yeah, he's just a nice guy.
He does seem like a nice guy.
You hear him in interviews, you're gonna be like, you know what? I like this guy.
Yeah, I believe it. It's like Travion Henderson.
How about we get into it?
Let's do it.
First game, we're going to talk about Boise State versus Penn State. Right now, the line is Penn State by 10.5. They're the 6th seed in this spot, but that's how the college football playoff works. Over/unders 52.5. Game is in Glendale at the Fiesta Bowl. Dylan, is it the Big Ten's tournament?
It's tough to say that because of the Oregon-Ohio State matchup where one Big Ten team's going to be eliminated no matter what. But can the Big Ten claim Notre Dame as like an ancillary team?
No.
Well, maybe.
No, because then ACC gets 50% of those rights.
I'll split. I think that's a fair. I'll split with ACC here. Penn State, Boise State. What I'm interested to see how the benefit of having the bye, because on paper Boise State is the subpar team. Their defense, they don't really do anything particularly well. They're 83rd in defensive EPA per pass. It's just not a good situation for the Boise State defense. And we saw a Penn State offense in the Big Ten championship. We saw a Penn State offense in their first game. They were humming. It looks like they got everything going. Now, obviously, they played SMU. That's not a stout defense. Penn State's only defensive hole, I'm using air quotes if you're like, their only hole is the rush defense. They're 37th in defensive rush success rate allowed. Obviously, that's a problem when you're facing Boise because Ashton Genty. But offensively, Penn State just outmatches and outclasses Boise State everywhere. I don't really know. Maybe under Penn State in the under, maybe. I'm not going to bet anything in this game, but I don't see a world where Boise gives Penn State any trouble.
You don't think that Ashton Genty can have any success on the ground?
I think he can. I don't think it will matter. I think the approach for Boise is going to be so one-dimensional, and Penn State's defense is good enough, specifically against the pass, to where they're not going to be able to get anything going. They're going to be able to stack the box, and hopefully, I understand stacking the box might not mean much going against Ashton Genty, but I don't see – we're comparing two different things here. We're comparing the Midwest champion to the Big Ten runner-up, and Penn State, on paper, is significantly better.
Do you think the extra I think you made up a great point, or you talked about a great point here. The potential rust factor of the teams coming on the bye. And I don't think we're going to find out about that until the Notre Dame Georgia game or the Oregon Ohio State game, because we're already coming into the Penn State Boise State game and the Arizona State Texas game with double-digit spreads. So I don't necessarily know if that is going to be answered for us, but we see it in the NFL playoffs. Last year, the 49ers had the number 1 seed in the NFC. We all remember that first half against no, it wasn't the Lions. That was the NFC title game, right?
Yeah.
It was the Packers. The Packers game, the Niners came out flat early, and then the second half had to call their way back, and Jordan Love had a magical game in that spot. But go ahead.
The problem with that, though, and I understand Michigan brain, but the way that Boise plays offense, if they get off to that slow start, do they have what it takes to be able to come back from a 2-touchdown deficit? If they go into halftime down 14 points, I don't know if we can say or be confident in Boise coming back from that.
And I think that's what I was going to get to, was that's the key. If Boise State has any shot at winning this game, is they have to get out to an early lead. If they fall double digits early, then they're going to have to start throwing the ball, and they're not going to be able to use Ashton Genty as much. They need to get out to a 10, 14-point lead early on and then start being able to hand the rock to them, because if they fall down in this game, like you mentioned, it's going to become one-dimensional, and then they have to throw the ball, which isn't exactly their strength, and they're going against a great defense in Penn State. I still think I like Boise State with the points here.
Really?
I think Genty's going to have success on the ground against Penn State, enough to keep this within 10 points. I know that's a dangerous thing right now after we saw the favorites just absolutely mollywop in the first round. I still think Penn State wins this game. I picked Penn State. I know I went chalk a lot in my bracket, but I think Boise State keeps this a little closer than people realize. I think Penn State's defense is a little susceptible to the run.
I agree with you. I agree with that. I think if they have one weakness, it's the rush defense, but it just seems like Penn State, I talked about it even leading up to the Ohio State game, and I might not have been proven right there, but they are so efficient on offense. Their EPA numbers are so great. Texas is really the only team that does better than them. Oregon. Probably Oregon too. But
Boise State's EPA numbers look great, but it's against the Mountain West, so it's impossible to stack that up.
But here's the thing. Boise's EPA, like their EPA numbers on defense aren't good. Like they're middle of the pack.
Offense. I was talking about offense.
But even to using that logic, they're playing Mountain West teams. Their defensive numbers aren't that great. And now you're playing the Big Ten runner-up that put up 40-plus against the number one team in the nation. Now we can talk about Oregon's defense. We'll get to that. But I don't know. I don't see it. I do not see. I think part of it is also I'm getting killed. And favorites are just blowing teams out, NFL, college, and at some point I need to jump on this train, or else I will go through the months of February to August just kicking myself in the butt. And now I just have to make that jump.
Maybe it is time to make that jump, because I'll tell you what, Christmas Day having the Steelers money line was one of the worst feelings.
That was naughty. I was surprised that Santa didn't come down the chimney and take my gifts back. I'll be honest.
And I deserve to be smacked in the face. The Chiefs got down to -2, and all the telltale signs were there. 85% of the bets were on the Chiefs, but then the line was moving towards the Steelers, and everything was pointing towards, okay, Pittsburgh's going to win this game, and then, no, you just get slapped in the face. The favorite, I feel like people are almost, I mean, like you were saying, you're scarred from the first round that these favorites are just going to win. And they're just going to dominate again.
Yeah, win big. Like, it hasn't even been close. I can't. I'm going Penn State. I'm doing it.
I'm leaning
the under.
I'm leaning Boise State with the points. Give me a score prediction.
Let's go Penn State 31, Boise 14.
I'm going to go Penn State 35, Boise State 31.
35-31, is that what you said?
Yeah, I think it's a little closer than people think.
All right.
I also said that about the Ravens-Texans, and I could not have been more wrong.
Safety.
Safety was the only
Christmas
score.
safety.
We're gonna have a talk about C.J. Stroud when we talk about doing NFL pod next.
Never wrong, just early. Never wrong, just early.
Never wrong, just early. Texas, Arizona State. This game is in Atlanta. Isn't that weird? It's weird this game's in Atlanta, but Texas, Arizona State, over-under's 52. Texas is a 14-point favorite in this spot. Dylan, are you backing yet another double-digit favorite?
Here's what's tough. I love the Arizona State story. Picked to finish last in the Big 12. You got Dillingham. I watch Barstool stuff. He's a big stoolie. Seems like a guy's guy. He's able to rally the troops. Their defense is awful. Worse than Boise State's. They have, I'm looking here, the 110th third, fourth down success rate allowed. Their defense, I mean, just absolutely awful stuff. And Texas, although I haven't been very high on, they've failed. They failed just about every test they've had.
Texas A&M on the road.
Oh, okay.
Clemson
That's
at
fine.
home.
That one I'm not as impressed with.
We didn't talk about this in the Clemson-Texas recap, talking about on Sunday. Cade Klubnik did have a really nice game.
He did. He really did. It was surprising.
Just wanted to throw that. I wanted to point that out there. Dylan, you want me to go?
Yes.
Texas by $1 billion.
Really?
Texas by $1 billion in this game. The Arizona State, the Kenny Dillingham story, Scatterboo, it's all great, and I think this Arizona State program is in amazing hands, but Texas is going to overwhelm them on every side of the ball. I don't know defensively.
If there's a matchup that I like, Texas offensively is going to have so much success. The Arizona State defense, you can look at just about any metric you want, and they're close to bottom half of college football in whatever metric you want to look at. But the matchup I'm looking for is the Texas defense versus the Arizona State offense, and I'm seeing a lot of green here for both these sides. Like, you have Texas, third in early downs EPA per play allowed. You have Arizona State on offense. They're 17th in early downs EPA per play on their offense. So there are things here. I don't know if it's going to be complete dominance from Texas on both sides of the ball. I think Arizona State's offense versus Texas defense is the matchup that I'm looking for. But offensively, no matter how Quinn Ewers has looked the last this season, I guess, I think they're going to be able to drive at will on this defense.
I think Texas's defense is going to swallow Scadaboo and this offense. This Texas secondary is a top 3 secondary in college football. These Arizona State wide receivers are bottom of the Big 12. It is all Scadaboo and Sam Leavitt with his legs when you watch these games on big plays. I really don't see a world where Arizona State can win this game unless, once again, we see it. We saw it in the Texas game, too, where Sark gets too cute. That's my only concern with Texas, even going forward, even winning national championship. I think Texas comes in this game. I think they win by 20+.
I'm going to counterpoint you here. Texas's defensive success rate against the rush, 58th in college football. Defensive success rate against the rush, 58th. Clearly the soft spot on their defense. No worries there. Like you said, we talked about Penn State, Boise. You said Genty could have a day. Scadaboo could have a day here and make things tough for Texas.
Yeah, but this is going to sound crazy. I think I trust Boise State's quarterback, and the quarterback's fairly even, but I think I trust their wide receivers more if Penn State stacks the box to throw the ball and get it done in the air more than I do Arizona State, because I trust Texas. I think Texas has elite corners.
I'm going Texas.
You're Texas.
I am.
Don't overthink this.
Yeah. I hate to do it as such a big favorite, but I don't think I have a choice. I love it though. This is if one of these teams was to make a run, I hope it's Arizona State. That's the one I want to see make a run.
I'd want Boise State.
Why?
Why not?
Because you're out there?
No, I don't give a crap about Boise State.
Oh, you're a blue field guy.
I do like the blue field, and I've got family near the blue field. But no, I don't care. I don't care about Boise State at all. It's more so that Boise State playing in the Fiesta Bowl again, like that is just pure college football right there. There's gonna be there. I mean, they're wearing the same jerseys that they did in the old Fiesta Bowl game, and when you're gonna watch that Boise State Penn State game, you're gonna go, "Oh man, dude, this feels right. All is right in the world with this Fiesta Bowl game." Arizona State Texas. You look at the matchups. You look how Arizona State has played in their bigger tests outside of the Iowa State game. Even though Iowa State, I don't even think is a test because they're on their 5th string linebackers and their run defense is bottom 5 in the country at that point by the end of the season with their injuries. It's really not that impressive outside of Leavitt Scadaboo, and Texas's defense is just no joke and nothing that Arizona State has seen all season long. I think this is a blowout. Let's go score predictions.
Texas 38, Arizona State 17.
Dang, I'm close on that one. I said I wrote down Texas 41, Arizona State 17.
Yeah, that's close.
It's
same Arizona State score.
Yeah, I think Texas wins by 20+ in this one. I think Quinn Ewers has a day. I think both running backs, Wisner and Blue, have a great day on the ground. I think it's just Texas every which way in the spot. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. And guess what? It'll be kind of fun to be wrong because it's fun seeing the underdog win.
It is.
It's fun, yeah. Oregon, Ohio State. Ohio State is favored by 2.5 in this spot, Dylan. You didn't believe me a few weeks ago when I said Ohio State would be favored in this game. They're 2.5-point favorite, over under 55.5 in this spot. It is in Pasadena. Dylan puts on the Oregon hat for all the podcast listeners out there. Dylan, Ohio State Ohio State lost this game in Eugene earlier in the season. They lose as a 20-plus point favorite to Michigan. They don't even get to play in the Big Ten title game. Meanwhile, Oregon swept the table, 13-0. They're balling right now, Big Ten champions. Why are they underdogs in this spot?
So before we get into it, I want to make a point here. Karter, you were nice enough after the Oregon-Ohio State game when Oregon absolutely dominated Ohio State in Eugene to send me an Oregon care package. You sent me a nice shirt. I'm not wearing the shirt, but you sent me the nice hat. I got the cup over here. And I was looking forward so much to wearing that as we did our conference championship previews, right? Because obviously Ohio State was going to win out. Yet Oregon was going to win out. They were all but solidified. And it just didn't end up happening. There was a game last week that kind of ruined Ohio State's chances for them. Before we get into the game, I want to point something out. A lot of discourse on X or whatever social media you use about Ryan Day being a bad coach. The play calling against Michigan was bad. Pop quiz. Did Will Howard have more pass attempts against Michigan or Tennessee?
Tennessee.
That he did not.
He did not.
28. He had 28 against Tennessee, 31 against Michigan. Another question, pop quiz. Did Jeremiah Smith have more targets against Michigan or Tennessee?
How equal were these? I would like to see
how many targets?
I would like to see how these targets were calculated, but let's say he had more targets against Michigan.
He did have more targets against Michigan. So, Ohio State fan, this is just an intro. Obviously, Ohio State fans, you want to say, oh, well, it's Ryan Day's fault. You didn't call the right plays. No, Michigan our defense actually just dominated you guys and did something that a top defense in the SEC couldn't do.
Or did they just concuss the quarterback?
That too. I'll give that. We've talked about that. I agree with that too. But I'm just sitting here saying you want to say Ohio State fans want to say, oh well, game plan was bad. And no, you just don't have the guys to match up with Michigan's defense. You don't make the Big Ten championship. I can't wear my Oregon stuff, but now I can wear my Oregon stuff because you are meeting in the college football playoff quarterfinals. On paper, Ohio State's a great team, right? We've done this song and dance all year. We know they're a very good team. Why are they favorites when Oregon beat them earlier in the year? It's at the Rose Bowl, so we know what it is going across multiple time zones. It's not advantageous for a team to have to do that. I don't know. You asked me the question. I don't know the answer. My brother-in-law asked me at Christmas, why is Ohio State favored against Oregon? I don't know. On paper, you see these things that they do very well. Their EPA margin's great. Offensive success, their worst is on the rush. Their rush offensive success rate is their worst. Their pass is fine. Ultimately, what this game comes down to for me, who's a better coach? Who do you want coaching on your sideline? Do you want Dan Lanning or do you want Ryan Day? And for me, I want Dan Lanning. I think the game plan is out there for Oregon. They are offensively, in my opinion, the most skilled team in college football. Oregon is. Go Denzel Burke. 7. If you're not targeting Denzel Burke once a set of downs, you're doing something wrong. Because we saw how he looked against Oregon. Evan Stewart dragged him almost into the end zone. I mean, just absolutely embarrassing stuff. That's the game plan if you're Oregon. You don't need to run. You don't need to run the ball. You're going to be able to throw. Just let that happen, and then if things go crazy, let Dylan Gabriel get it done on the ground. This is blowout. This is not this. We talk about blowouts, 10, 14, 21 point. This is going to be the biggest blowout of the weekend. Oregon will take care of business. Yeah, they will take care of business handedly here. Ohio State's a good team. But when it matters, when the moments are the brightest, Ryan Day poops down his leg. And some people are calling Oregon Michigan 2.0.
Okay. Texas, Arizona State's going to be the biggest blowout of the weekend.
You're entitled to that opinion, even if it's wrong. You're entitled to that.
Okay, but you just said you had Texas winning by 21 in your score prediction. What's the score of this game going to be?
I'm going to say Oregon 42, Ohio State 17. Karter, this is going to be bad. This Ohio State team, when it matters the most, they fold. You get a Tennessee that their running back is out, and they beat them by 30-some points. How impressive is that? They're missing their best offensive player. You got a redshirt freshman that's having to play an away playoff game, and you beat them by 30 points, and you think that you're national champions. And I'm rooting for them, Karter. I'm rooting for Ohio State. I want them to win it all, right? And they don't have to play a block M, so it's very possible that they do win it all. But it doesn't. Oregon takes care of business here. It's going to be exactly like what we saw, except this time there's not going to be interceptions that don't get called. That's a 14-point swing. As long as Oregon's guys don't spit on Ohio State's players, I think we're pretty good here.
No spinning. Got his fastball. You still got your fastball.
Halfback dive. These why you serious? Number one fan on TikTok. You want me to comment about my bracket? My national champion's still alive.
Yeah, but someone's got a perfect bracket so far.
Well, is it that impressive if we're picking 8,000-point favorites in our bracket to win games outright?
8,000-point favorites. We'll see after this. If I still have a perfect bracket after this weekend, I'll be somewhat proud. It's not March Madness proud, but it's a little proud.
You're not picking Ohio State here, right? You're not picking Ohio State. Did you watch the Michigan game?
Did you watch the Tennessee game?
I did, but we're talking different things here. They were missing their best. I guess Michigan was missing their two best players. So
two things going into this game that I find interesting. I feel there's quite a few similarities to the Texas-Georgia games as there is to this one. Yeah, the first Texas-Georgia game wasn't close, and it was a blowout and whatnot. Not in that same vein, but Texas was still favored against Georgia after losing to them and on a neutral field, and we still saw Texas lost yet again. And it's still just tripping me up that Ohio State is favored in the spot, traveling multiple time zones. After having played, Oregon's got the more rest. We'll find out the rest versus rust this weekend, whether the bye is more advantageous than the easier path. I hate this pick. I hate it with every bone in my body. I'm picking Ohio State.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a little Oregon. Oregon's flirting with the Miami Hurricanes a little bit.
What does that mean?
They're starting to act a little like the Miami Hurricanes did this year.
Winning their conference?
No, there's inklings. Well,
are you talking about basketball?
No, gosh, no. Their coach isn't retiring today.
Yeah, it's true. Dan Lanning's still there. One thing I want to point out with Oregon is their number one weakness, and I feel like I've been echoing this. Number one weakness on defense is their rush defense. But the first time they met, Travion Henderson was the only back that had any kind of success. He had 87 yards, I think, on 10 carries. But that's factoring in one carry of 53 yards. So
yeah,
what changes? Like if there's one takeaway we've seen from Ohio State is that the running backs have not been as good as advertised.
And that's my point is, why are they still favored?
Why?
And I hate it. I literally hate
one team is coming off a bye, the other just Ohio State dominated Tennessee. That I'm sure recency bias has a little bit to do with it.
Do we think there's a little, you know what? Ohio against the world.
Yeah, those frisky underdogs up there in Columbus only got $20 million to spend on a roster. Okay, yeah, Ohio against the world.
You can say that, but it is Ryan Day against the world.
But it's not. Here's the thing: it's not Ohio. It's Ohio State against Michigan. They have no problem with any other team.
Ohio State against Oregon too. I mean, they lost to Oregon.
Okay, that's fine. So Michigan and Oregon, you got two states out. You got 1/25 of the country covered, let alone the world.
And that's a very flawed argument because then you could look at Oregon and be like, well, they could see that they're underdogs on the spread, and they're like, we already beat this team.
Yeah.
So that's bulletin board material right there too. So it's stupid.
If anything, it's what would you can't think of a catchy slogan because Ohio State's favorites. It'd be like Ohio State with the world. Like everybody loves Ohio State.
And I feel bad for people listening because I'm giving terrible analysis for this game. But one, I think this comes down to kind of like the last game, who's got the ball left? Who's got the ball last? last
then
person with the ball. And then all of a sudden you think, well, I'd trust Dylan Gabriel in that spot, wouldn't I?
Yeah. But it's not even. Do you trust Will Howard? I mean, Will Howard had the ball last time they played.
Do you think Oregon is going to have the same success against this Ohio State defense that they had against Penn State and Ohio State? Because I think that's where this number is coming from, where Ohio State is still favored to win by 2.5 points, is that Ohio State's defense outside of that Oregon game has been dominant.
But let me offer a counterpoint here. We look at the sample size of the last two games. You have a Tennessee offense that's not the Tennessee offense of years past. The receivers aren't great. Offensive line is atrocious. And then you have a Michigan team that can't throw the ball. But maybe that's part of it too. I don't know. Maybe they think the defense looks so great, but then you look at it and you're like, oh, they played a Michigan team that has no offense, and you played a Tennessee team that is not even close to what they've been.
Yeah, but that's tough. And also, I think the defense still played well in that Michigan game. It's just Ohio State couldn't make a field goal, and Will Howard was concussed in that game. So whatever. Throw that out the window a little bit. But then you go back to, okay, the Penn State game, the Indiana game. The defense was dominant in those games. They didn't give up a touchdown to Penn State.
That's fair. That's more than fair. I don't know what the rebuttal would be to that. I think it might be a little bit of recency bias.
I don't think it's recency bias. I just think that the number is coming from, okay, we think that this defense is still this good, and that one game against Oregon was kind of an anomaly. But it still scares me because that defense was fully healthy. There was no problems on that defense in that game. The game was in Oregon, traveling multiple times. So it's pretty similar to what we're going to see in the Rose Bowl. I really, everything would honestly point to you saying take Oregon with the points here. Really, take Oregon with the points here.
So what are you doing?
I'm taking Ohio State.
Oh, okay. So what was that? What was that little roundabout you just did there? Everything says take Oregon. I'm taking Ohio State.
Yeah, you got to fade yourself. The number is telling you everything you need to know in this game.
It's all Oregon.
It is not.
Better coach, more talented.
I wouldn't
better
go
quarterback.
More talented. I don't think I'd go more talented.
More talented. Evan Stewart's going to be the best wide receiver on that field.
Stop.
Come on now. What are we doing here? Amateur.
Jeremiah Smith.
Who
we doing? That Rizzler Whoville line is still amazing.
I haven't been as online.
Well, you've seen it. It was like a month ago.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have.
Yeah, it was the Rizzler's Christmas song. He was like, said Whoville, Dr. It was great. I'll go score predictions super quick. I've got Ohio State 31, Oregon 28.
I don't know, man. We've seen it.
This
Ohio State team can crap down their leg when the moments are the brightest.
There's going to be points in this game. There's going to be some points in this game. Also,
I agree with that, though.
This is a glorious, glorious college football game for people who just love college football. When you turn on your TV on New Year's Day, you've got Pasadena and the mountains and the Rose Bowl and everything. That's going to be amazing. I cannot wait for that. I think this game's going to be awesome. The Jersey matchup's going to be great. It's just going to be a perfect college football setting for this game.
Agreed.
And give me Ohio State 31-28 in this spot. Love the over at 54.5, by the way. Love the over. And
I love it.
Anything else on this game? I think we nailed it.
Come on, Bucks. Need you, Bucks. Let's do something here. Hey, you can argue the national championship doesn't matter. I wouldn't argue that, but I would argue that. But I'm rooting for you guys here. Seriously, it's been an awful year. You guys got to have something.
Is it a little concerning for you that Will Howard had a lot of success on Tennessee's defense?
No. Why? Why would I care?
Because Oregon's defense is not as good as Tennessee's?
I would agree with that. But here's the thing. It's a win-win. I picked Oregon. I think Oregon's going to – I think they're going to blow them out. It won't even be close. But then if Ohio State wins, it's like I want that. I want them to win it all. They're primed to win it all. They don't have to play Michigan or Missouri. No block M's.
Dylan with his fastball. Notre Dame versus Georgia. Georgia, a 1.5-point favorite in this game. This line has flip-flopped. This line has moved quite a bit. I think it opened at Notre Dame -1.5.
Yep.
The over-under's at 44 in this game. Dylan, will a pass be thrown in this football game?
Brother, I don't know. It's Georgia's defense is not the Georgia defense of years past. 52nd in EPA per pass, 51st in EPA per rush, and that's the number I want to focus on. Are they going to be able to stop Notre Dame's rush attack? Is Riley Leonard going to have to throw a pass in order to have success? And you take a Georgia team that's going to be without Carson Beck. I understand we crap on Carson Beck. He hasn't been that great this year. But do we trust Gunnar Stockton to make his first start in a playoff game and be serviceable? He had an interception in the SEC championship with 12 pass attempts?
Or 16? That throw was horrible. That throw was horrible.
He was 12 for 16 with 71. 12 for 16 with 71 yards and 1 interception against Texas. And the limited time he had, Notre Dame has the number 1 pass defense in the country. I just don't see how Georgia gets anything going here. But conversely, if I want to make a case for Georgia, I trust Kirby Smart a lot more than I trust Marcus Freeman.
That's fair. That's fair. Also, huge that this game is not being played in Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Game Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. Dylan, this is 2 service academies playing each other. This is Army versus Navy, just with the names of Notre Dame and Georgia. Riley Leonard and Gunnar Stockton do not want to throw a ball in this game. No. I think we might see there's a chance we see. The problem is someone's going to be down and they're going to have to throw the ball. I don't think we see more than 25, 30 pass attempts in this game.
I wouldn't be surprised. Neither team's going to want to do that. Throw the ball.
And I really just think this is coming down to, okay, who's got the better run game and who's got the worst rush defense. It's that simple. And your answer would be, Dylan?
Notre Dame has the better rush game offensively.
And who's got the better run D?
Statistically speaking, Georgia does. But it's not great. Notre Dame's rush defense is not great either. They're 64th in defensive rush success rate allowed. And Georgia is 51st. So they're both not great. Maybe this is like a reverse over because both teams are going to have success running the ball.
I picked Georgia in my bracket. I really want to take Notre Dame here.
I took Georgia as an underdog, and I might exit that position with Notre Dame. On paper, Notre Dame should win this game.
They really should, which is crazy to think about. But we also, there's the unknown around Gunnar Stockton because, yeah, we saw glimpses of it in the SEC title game, like you mentioned. And, yeah, he had that bad interception, but he also made some decent throws and whatnot. What if he can just throw the ball? And we just don't know that. All of a sudden, we're like, wait, this kid can light it up in the air, and we just have not seen enough of it.
How much do you take into consideration the lack of experience from Carson Beck? Even if Carson Beck hasn't been that great, he's been here before. In a big game.
No.
In a big game.
He's never been in the playoff.
Yes, not the playoff, but like he's played. I guess Gunner's played in a big. Gunner's played in a big game.
Correction, timeout. Carson Beck played the entire second half against TCU.
That's true. Is that a big game?
No, not at all.
Medium game.
Yeah, mid.
Average-sized game.
Mediocre.
Yeah.
Average is big though.
What? Average is. No, you're right. I see what you're saying. You might be onto something.
You got there.
Bell-shaped curve.
Bell-shaped curve. I don't know. This is a tricky one. I think I lean Notre Dame here. I really do. I think I'm going to regret it immediately.
I think the only case you would make for Georgia is coaching, right?
Coaching and then the unknown of Gunnar Stockton being a positive.
Okay. I think you're right. I think it's Notre Dame here.
Because the other issue is, you talked about it, Notre Dame's pass defense, unbelievable. It's great. You know what Georgia has? Not great wide receivers, not great weapons to throw to. They have not been awesome at any point really this season, and you're throwing in the backup quarterback to throw to these guys against the number one pass defense in the country. All of this is going to have to be won on the ground. And a big thing here too, Dylan, I need stats department on this because I didn't prep for this part. What's the penalty yard difference? Because that's going to be the difference in this game too.
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to have to look that up.
All right, while we're getting stats department on that, I'm excited for this game too. The fact that they scheduled this, the Ohio State, Oregon rolls right into Notre Dame, Georgia. I also kind of like how they're only doing one game on New Year's Eve, and it could be a potential blowout. I think that's a good thing for college football, and everybody has actual New Year's Day off typically with their work, so therefore you can sit there and watch college football all day. I think that's an awesome thing.
Sorry, I'm totally locked in here.
Oh, you're good. By the way, if you were wondering right now, I think Gino fumbled.
Georgia offensively is offense. Georgia 55 penalty yards per game. Notre Dame 52.
No difference.
Yeah, pretty much the same. And then defensively, we have add a nice little sound effect there and put
Dylan, quit filling time.
Wow. Yeah, pretty much the same. Notre Dame on defense. Notre Dame 49 penalty yards a game. Georgia 47.
So literally we're off by 1 yard.
Yeah. So literally the exact same.
But
not literally.
Obviously, things could get weird in this spot, and tempers could flare and whatnot.
Maybe more procedural penalties for Georgia with a new quarterback.
Potentially, but I think that stuff gets figured out. I'm not too worried about that with Kirby Smart. If it was a different coach,
4 weeks to do it. 3 weeks to do it. So,
yeah, I'm not really too concerned about that. But like I said, if you're talking yourself into Georgia in this game, you're telling yourself Gunnar Stockton is a positive for not being able to be scouted as much, and the unknown around him is going to benefit Georgia greatly, and you have a much better coach in this spot. But I'm still taking Notre Dame because for every other reason, and I think Love and Leonard have a great day on the ground against Georgia. And that's going to be the difference. Also, 44 might be high.
I think it is.
I think that's a lot of points.
I think it's a lot of points. But I feel like Notre Dame. A lot
of points.
This could be small brain coming out. I feel like Notre Dame gets like defensive scores, pick sixes, fumble recoveries. It's a lot of points in a short amount of time.
Yeah, that could scare me too. I love it.
Final score?
Final score in this game, I'm going to go Notre Dame 21, Georgia 20.
I'm going to go Notre Dame 24, Georgia 10.
Georgia 10. Georgia doesn't score more than 10 points?
Georgia does not score more than 10 points on Notre Dame.
We got it.
Time is a flat circle.
Yeah, I was about to say, time's a flat circle. What a way to put a bow on this episode. Anything else before we go?
I was trying to think of something funny.
I couldn't think. I was trying to think too.
You got any bones to pick? Yeah, you got a bone to pick with anybody, anything?
Every player outside of Nikola Jokic on the Denver Nuggets. I put in a dumb parlay during Christmas. I was like, it's a free play. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just put in a little parlay. And first 4 legs hit, 5th leg, Jokic triple-double. And I have never seen players miss more wide-open shots than when he passes them the ball. I mean, it was outrageous. I think he finished with 2 or 3 assists, and it was very troubling.
So real quick, NBA comment. What would you think if we made stats revisions, and if you have a pass that leads to a shot being taken, it's half an assist if it doesn't get made? Like half a sack.
I don't hate it because a lot of the times the pass to assist is almost greater than the actual assist.
Yes. I think you have to give some credence to that.
So I also want to start doing hockey assists.
Yes, I wanted to ask your opinion. The NFL, obviously taking over Christmas Day from the NBA, and they just put out the viewership numbers. Yikes. Do you have any comment on NFL taking over NBA?
Like how great the NFL numbers were?
Oh, yeah, they were amazing.
Yeah, I think 25 million each.
I think one NFL game got more than the 5 Christmas NBA games total.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. Football's always going to be bigger. So that's not what
LeBron said. LeBron said Christmas is NBA's.
Yeah, well, he's just wrong. It was. baseball was the biggest sport in America in the 30s.
It still is. America's
No.
pastime. It's America's pastime.
Yeah, that's why the pastime. It's not number one.
But it's history. Like NFL comes. Yeah.
What do you
What
mean?
are we doing?
What do you mean? Shout out Rusty anytime touchdown.
Yeah, and then Nico blew it. A Christmas
Nico
Day
choked.
parlay would have sent waves in the KarterKast Discord. There would have been murmurs all across the world about the KarterKast parlay hitting on Christmas.
We needed to get the KarterKast Discord going.
Was it? Who was the one that missed the Nico? Who? What? Is he here?
Is he? No.
It's interesting. Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah,
Maybe not
no.
wanting to face the music. We're not going to let him slide, all right?
Other thing is, have you watched much other bowl games? I've caught a few.
No, not this year.
They feel more meaningless than ever.
I did see the one today, Pitt I saw
Toledo.
the overtimes of that, and then I saw the Bowling Green punter throw an absolute dot to somebody for on a fake punt for a 46-yard touchdown.
San Jose State versus USF was pretty awesome. The Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve, and then also BYU Colorado. I'm excited about because no one opted out.
That'll be fun. Then when do they play?
Saturday.
Saturday. I'll be watching NFL.
Oh yeah, I forgot there's NFL all day Saturday.
That's awesome. That is
Broncos Bengals preview. Here we go.
Bengals alive.
Bengals are alive.
Sneaky alive.
You kind of got me because I kept saying meaningless games. They're
Didn't
alive.
get flexed out.
But the Chiefs are going to bench everybody against the Broncos.
Well, maybe they.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to. Yeah, you're right. But still alive.
Yeah. Oh, Lions to have the best overall record in the NFL. I can only get a tie with the Chiefs right now. So we need, because the Chiefs only have one more game left. They're 15-1. Lions have 2 losses.
Vikings have 2 losses.
But if they beat the Vikings, they play the Vikings in the last week of the season. So therefore, they would end it right there. So they would both. I need the Broncos to beat the Chiefs and the Lions to win out, and I would win half my winnings.
Okay. Well, there you go.
11-1.
That's pretty nice. That's a nice payday.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Shout
all
out Ben.
right. Let's wrap up. College football playoff previews. That's it. We'll be back next week. Regular scheduled programming coming back. Download SeatGeek. Use code KarterKast. $20 off your first purchase. $50 minimum purchase required. We've got some cool YouTube videos coming out on the YouTube channel.
Let's go.
Little something different, a little more evergreen stuff. Make sure to tune into that. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify right now, hit 5 stars, rate, review, hit the subscribe, follow button on there. If you're watching on YouTube, you know the drill. Like and subscribe and hit that subscribe button and tell everybody you know. Send them the link. Say subscribe. Best show on the planet. Subscribe. That's it. We'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.